Queensland College of Teachers Excellence in Teaching Awards. I'd like to thank the teachers and the students from St Lawrence's College for entertaining us tonight. My name is Kathy Galvin. I've been a secondary teacher for a very long time. I'm not going to read out the years that put in here for me. I'm currently a principal at St John Fisher College at Bracken Ridge and a QCT board member. In keeping with the spirit of reconciliation, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands where Custom House now stands and recognise that these have always been places of teaching and learning. I wish to pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and acknowledge the important role Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people continue to play within our community. I would like to acknowledge our very special guests this evening, Minister for Education and Minister for Industrial Relations, the Honourable Grace Grace MP, Shadow Assistant Education Minister, Mrs Simone Wilson MP, Chair of the Board of the Queensland College of Teachers, Emeritus Professor Wendy Patton, the award eponymous Dr Roger Hunter, OAM, Dr Alan Drury, OAM, Dr John Dwyer and Dr Joe McCauley, OAM, and our guest speaker, Ms Alison Camille, our finalists and dignitaries from education organisations across Queensland whom we will acknowledge later today. The Director of the QCT, John Ryan, sends his apologies. John is currently at a national function in Melbourne accepting an award for the QCT's leadership in progressing important reforms in the area of initial teacher education. The award recognises the work of the Queensland College of Teachers and the principles which drive it, that of leadership, collaboration, innovation and contemporary regulation. In regard to housekeeping for this evening, the toilets are at the back of the room, just past Janet, out the main door and to your right. In the event of an emergency, please note our exit to my left and follow the instructions of the Customs House staff who will be in charge of any evacuation procedures. So World Teachers' Day is a very significant day in the life of our educational and our wider community because of the vital role that's played by teachers and the importance of education. The transformative power of an effective teacher is something almost all of us have experienced and understand on a personal level. If we were particularly fortunate, we had many exceptional teachers who made school an exciting and interesting place. Those teachers possessed a passion for the subjects that they taught and a genuine care for the students with whom they worked. They inspired us to play with ideas, think deeply about the subject matter, take on more challenging work, and even pursue careers in particular fields of study. Many teachers, myself included, said that they became a teacher because of the influence of the great teachers that they had at school. And largely, those teachers are unsung heroes who go unrecognised for the remarkable work that they do with students on a daily basis. But today we recognise a selection of those amazing teachers. These are teachers who know that their words and actions can build students up to see more and go further than perhaps they ever thought they could. They bring the best of themselves to their roles and therefore to our students. They shape young lives and therefore shape the future. Such is the power of the teacher. To our finalists here today, you are so well deserving of the recognition from your peers and your communities, and you should say very proud of what you do. Congratulations to you all. And I would now like to introduce our Education Minister, the Honourable Grace Grace MP.
Thank you, Kathy. And can I start by acknowledging the traditional owners and paying respects to elders past, present and emerging. And can I acknowledge my parliamentary colleague Simone Wilson? She's around somewhere. There you are. Hello, Simone. How are you? Good to have you here, Simone. And Simone is a Shadow Assistant Minister for Education and the member for Palmerston. Can I acknowledge my Director General, Tony Cook, and boy, hasn't my life changed since Tony's come on board. Thank goodness for that. So Tony, you're welcome here, of course. Emeritus Professor Wendy Patton, the Chair of Queensland College of Teachers Board. Can I acknowledge representatives of the Queensland Teachers Union, representatives of the Queensland Independent Education Union as well. Can I acknowledge, of course, our sponsors that they're before you, because often with these things, if we don't have sponsors, they don't happen. So your support is very much appreciated. The Excellence in Teaching Award finalists, all of you fine teachers in front of me. can I acknowledge each and every one of you, all of the distinguished guests that are here, representatives of the various parents and carers associations, the PNCs, and what's the new name, Carmel? Catholic School Parents Queensland now, and of course all the organisations that are here, to supporters, thank you very much each and every one of you. I acknowledge all of you in the audience, and I have to let you in a little bit of a secret. Everywhere I've been this week during Education Week, I've said I couldn't think of a better place to be in Education Week than to be here. So let me let you in on a secret. Tonight is really the place that I couldn't think of anywhere better to be during Education Week, and it's an honour to be here at the Queensland College of Teachers Excellent in Teaching Award, and of course on the eve of World Teachers Day tomorrow. And I'm continually impressed, no matter where I go, by the dedication and the passion of our teachers and principals and leaders in schools everywhere I go, from Cairns where I was yesterday to out of Toowong that I was today. It's just been incredible to see the passion of teachers delivering that education to give our kids a world-class education. Queensland teachers, I know, make a positive difference to our young Queenslanders, and we are really, delivering a well-rounded student that we require for today's world. Many people can remember a teacher. I think Kathy said we've all had a teacher who inspired us, and when I was in the car, Zal, my advisor, said to me, Minister, there's a little segment in there about you speaking about a teacher that inspired you. And I said, oh my goodness, let me think who that could possibly be. But I guess the ones that inspired me the most, the ones that picked out your characteristics. And there was one teacher, and it was actually quite devious. They knew that if they challenged me and told me I couldn't do something, that I would try my best. And I think she found that out early in the piece. And so she would make remarks about, oh, there you are, Miss Fafalia, you'll never amount to anything, you'll, there'll be another student that will run rings around you on this test, so I wouldn't worry about it too much if I was you. And she brought the best out in me, because my goodness, was I going to treat her wrong? And it's years later that I realised she was actually a very good teacher. She could pick out what she needed to do to get the best out of you, and she would feed you that nearly every single day. So maybe she was one of the ones that inspired me, where at the time I didn't think I was being inspired, but in reality she picked out my flaws and played on them. But tonight's finalists helped demonstrate that Queensland is at the forefront, as I said, of providing a great education for our students. And the QCT Excellent in Teaching Awards showed the breadth of influence that teachers have in nurturing our kids. Every day, teachers help transform the lives of young people in Queensland by helping them to reach their full potential. And there are excellent teachers working in schools right throughout Queensland, in the city or in our most rural and remote regions of Queensland. And this week, the Grattan Institute report put a national spotlight on this work. The report showed that Queensland makes, a good gain in reading and numeracy in our students. And in fact, you don't have to take my word for it, but the Grattan Institute itself called Queensland the star performer amongst all the states and territories. And I think that that's a really good recognition of the work that we do. And as Gonski said, it's all about that growth in the student, and it's really good that we've been able to be recognised for that. So it's not surprising that we've got 230 nominations. It's a record, Wendy, I think. Were received this year across 5 categories for these awards, demonstrated the great diversity of contexts that teachers work in across our vast state. They are among the 1,500 entries received since the awards began in 2009. There are, many heartwarming stories about when the teachers were nominated, and there's a couple here from a student who nominated her teacher, who read that her enthusiasm and love of teaching was evident from the beginning. She has always had an amazing ability to connect with all of her students, no matter what their level of knowledge is, and focus on the big picture. And these are students writing about their teachers. Another teacher was said to be renowned for persevering with unwavering support with students who have learning difficulties or disabilities, and he provides individualised differentiation in the classwork he develops. Students feel special within and beyond his classroom. They're great words. And there's another one here, and I'll just read this out. A long, multifaceted, creatively rich and inspirational career in education. A journey that has taken her to some of the most remote, isolated and under-resourced hang on a minute, under-resourced, what's that mean? Under-resourced, what, I wasn't supposed to read that out, I don't think. Regions in Queensland, teaching some acutely disadvantaged and underprivileged but education-hungry students. She has worked with some remarkable local teachers who have been motivated by her commitment, resourcefulness, resilience, and hearty sense of humour in extremely difficult circumstances. I mean, these are beautiful testimonies of what teachers do and a true inspiration for the finalists in this room. The standard of our beginning teachers, represented by nominees here tonight, my understanding is has been exceptionally high and is a testament to the quality of the initial teacher education programs, the induction programs run in Queensland schools and early learning centres, as well as the commitment of beginning teachers themselves. Can I say that tonight, this year, a new award will be presented in addition to the 4 existing nomination categories, and it was great to meet Joe McCauley, OAM, and we'll have the Joe McCauley OAM Award for an outstanding contribution to school community, and this will provide recognition for an inspirational teacher who is at the heart of the community. Congratulations, Joe. So I think we should have a round of applause in relation to that. Can I take a moment just to have a vote of thanks to the QCT board and members that are here, and the board chair, of course, Wendy, for providing the opportunity to showcase these wonderful teachers. Of course, we would not be without our many principals as well, who do an excellent job in supporting the school community and providing the leadership and support that we need for the nominations and the finalists. The contribution that each of them makes to their local community, this state, and the future of young Queenslanders is inspiring. Can I just take a personal note to say thank you for all the work you do day in, day out. It's wonderful to work with the stakeholders that are in this room, all of you. It's a pleasure to be Minister for Education. It's wonderful to be here tonight on Education Week, and of course let's not forget that tomorrow is World Teachers Day, and I wish you all a fantastic World Teachers Day tomorrow, and of course good luck to all the finalists. I look forward to handing out the awards. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Minister. We'll start with the Dr. Roger Hunter OAM Excellence in Beginning to Teach Award, which aims to recognise inspirational classroom teachers with less than 4 years of teaching experience. Dr. Hunter, would you mind coming to the stage, please? So I'd like to introduce the finalists in the Dr. Roger Hunter OAM Excellence in Beginning to Teach Award. Each finalist will come to the stage to receive their certificate from the Education Minister.
In 2018, some of the dedicated teachers at Coomera Rivers and I embarked on a journey that would change the lives of everyone involved, the Brisbane Kokoda Schools Challenge. The goal for our students and leaders was for us to epitomise the 4 core values demonstrated by the Kokoda Foundation: courage, endurance, mateship and sacrifice. There were many early weekend mornings where we would train, bond and establish the mindset and work ethic required for us to complete the challenge. It was during this endeavour that I realised just how lucky and proud I was for me to be able to experience this not only as a first-time Kokoda runner, but also as a mentor and leader of the group.
The achievement that I'm most proud of as a teacher is my ability to form really positive relationships with the children that I educate and look after and their families. I'm really mindful that when the children come to me, sometimes they haven't been away from their family and friends before. So it's really important that I manage to make them feel safe and secure. And when those children who are sometimes really distressed initially start coming in with a big happy smile on their face and are really excited to be at Kempty, that makes me really proud.
Proudest achievement at school was certainly looping my Year 5 class to my current Year 6 class. My parent body was given some correspondence where they could opt in or out and stay with their current teacher. And I was overwhelmed by the response. I achieved 100% looping rate and took all of my kids up to Year 6 and received beautiful feedback from my parents. So I certainly see that as a proud moment because I absolutely love my connection with my parents and my students.
The achievement I am most proud of as a beginning teacher has definitely been the implementation of the Waka Waka language program. I now understand how meaningful and relevant learning Indigenous language is, and I'm honoured to be able to work in the space. This has been affirmed in a number of ways. Just this morning, a student was able to tell me a story from his holidays using at least 3/4 Waka Waka words. This program, I believe, has also built confidence, wellbeing and pride in our students. During NAIDOC celebrations, our school was invited to perform in front of 2 other much larger schools in the area. A group of our Prep 2 students performed Heads, Shoulders, Knees and Toes, or as we know it, Mawali Boondorjinam.
I think the proudest moments I have are moments where students achieve great things despite adversity. For example, when students pass an exam that they don't think they're going to pass, but they pass it anyway because they put hard work in. Every time I've taken students through the Kokoda Challenge and seen those students finish, they're proud moments for me.
The achievement I'm most proud of is writing a class at my school that didn't exist before, the school yearbook class. I read through countless card documents to write a justification for the curriculum I wanted to teach and discovered that it was best run as an extension English class, which I ran as a composite with Year 9s and 10s. This was a lot of extra work because I had to write extra assessment tasks and task sheets for the 2 different year levels and negotiate a time when both years were on an elective line that wouldn't complicate their subject selections in other ways. However, I'm really pleased with the students' ability to self-direct and adhere to guidelines and work creatively in groups.
Congratulations to all of our finalists in the Excellence in Beginning to Teach Awards. Can I invite the award sponsor, TUH Executive Manager Member Experience, Ms. Kathy McGuane, to the stage to announce the winner for this award.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'd just like to say that, I don't know if you're aware, but this awards have been running for 10 years now. And I really would like to congratulate the Queensland College of Teachers because I think they were ahead of their time on getting on the front foot with acknowledging and rewarding the work, the great work that teachers have done. And TUH is very proud to say that we have been partnering with them from the beginning. I think one of the core values of TUH that we feel that we have in common with teachers is the value of trust. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship. The amount of trust the students, our community, parents, government and your employer put in you to steer our future generations is significant. You are here today because you have demonstrated beyond expectations that trust is a value you exemplify in your day-to-day duties as a teacher. At TUH, we take our role very seriously as the custodian of our members who are mainly teachers, Queensland teachers, when they are going through very difficult times, when they are sick or need support, and they can trust us to do the right thing. So much so that our members voted us #1 in Australia for trustworthiness. That is a real value that we are so proud of, particularly in the business community today where it's waning. So congratulations to all the people who were nominated, all the finalists today. Keep inspiring, just keep doing what you are doing, because as a society, we benefit from your great work. Thank you. Yeah, now the important part. And the winner is Mawashi Kara from the Rock community. Congratulations.
This is wonderful. Yes.
Do you want us over a bit? Yeah, I think we've got to go in front of the lecture. Yeah. I'm getting good at this.
Thank you.
Okay, well, it's hard to believe that I'm standing here tonight a year after graduating. The Honourable Grace Grace, Professor Wendy Patton, Ms Cathy McGuane. I would like to thank you, the Queensland College of Teachers and the Teachers Union Health for being here and enabling these awards to take place. I would like to acknowledge the work of Dr Roger Hunter, who the Excellence in Beginning to Teach Award is named after, and also to congratulate the other nominees on their efforts that see them here tonight. Okay, my thanks goes to Andrew McLean and the C&K management team for nominating me for this award and for their ongoing support as I continue to pave my way in teaching. I have an amazing team that I work with at C&K White Rock Kindergarten, and I couldn't do the job that I do without them. I'm grateful for their openness, their kindness, and most of all their positive and fun energy that they bring to work each day. To my close friends and family, in particular my husband Troy and our 3 children, Tiara, Tavalu and Ravana, I am blessed to have your unwavering support, which boosts my confidence and belief in what I do. And lastly, to the amazing children that I get to spend time with and their very beautiful families, I am honoured to be a part of their learning and life journey, and hope that together the foundation that we lay is strong. Thank you.
So the Dr. Alan Drury OAM Excellence in Teaching Award aims to recognise inspirational classroom teachers. Would now like to introduce you to this year's finalist. Can I ask Dr. Alan Drury to come to the stage, please? And the Minister as well.
Girls on the search for the next tech girl superhero. I had no idea that the journey would take them so far. Seeing them in Silicon Valley at places like Google and IBM, talking to engineers and coders, and just seeing how much they had learned and the doors that are now opening for them is unreal. So the legacy that's left behind at our school is invaluable. The thing that I'm most proud of is the change in the culture at our school, and now girls are getting excited about technology, they're drawn to it and they want to be involved in it.
What we do in the classroom, the knowledge and the skills that we instill in our students ultimately influences what they become later in life. Getting my HAT certification and having it used for training, that was probably one of the highlights. Initiating programs, writing programs, organising events for our school, such as the MKR cooking competition and the astronomy night, which families came along to. The biggest thing that I really am proud of is my students, and they are my biggest achievement.
Certainly I'm really proud of the achievements of my students, and these are measurable outcomes, but probably what I'm more proud of is being involved in fostering engagement in science. In particular, our science club at school. Students are able to engage, do science competitions, have fun science activities, and I think this has had a big impact on engagement at the school, because between 50 and 60% of senior cohorts actually take chemistry as a subject, and I'm really proud of it.
Gosh, I'm proud of so many achievements. For instance, the Fish Creek 4061 environmental project that's now across many schools. I'm proud of the school musical where we impacted 250 kids. What I'm really proud of is creating an environment each year where students grow. they grow in confidence, they grow in curiosity, they grow in knowledge and understanding, and they grow in happiness. So what I'm really proud of is making a difference.
An achievement that I'm proud of as an English teacher in my career is helping students to realise that English exists beyond the four walls of the classroom. So I've used project-based learning in my English classroom to connect the kids with the outside world, to see that language and communication is really a way that we can not only make our own lives better, but contribute to the community around us as well.
I think it's the little things that happen day to day that make me proud of what I do. For example, when I outline to my students a prac or an experiment that we're going to do and they get really excited and engaged in the learning process, or when I give a student just a tiny little hint of how to tackle a challenging problem, and then I can step back and kind of watch them work out how to do it on their own, and I see that sense of satisfaction that they worked it out, and I think those are the kind of parts of teaching that make me proud of what I do.
Could I invite our sponsor, the Teachers Mutual Bank, Queensland Northern Territory Manager Mr. Rob Buchanan, to announce the recipient of the 2018 Dr. Alan Drury OIM Excellence in Teaching Award.
Good evening. Teachers Mutual Bank is very proud to partner the Queensland College of Teachers, and we're absolutely delighted to be supporting the wonderful teachers of Queensland. At the start of tonight's event, I had a discussion with a few people and there was a little bit of confusion as to exactly who Teachers Mutual Bank are. Some people thought, are you the old Queensland Teachers Credit Union? So I thought I might just clarify that for the people here. So back in the 1960s, there was pretty much a credit union for the teaching industry in every state throughout Australia. Sadly, in the last 12 months, all but ourselves have disappeared. The last two to disappear were the Queensland Teachers Credit Union, who have now become a bank for the Automobile Club, and the Victorian Teachers Credit Union, who decided to drop their bond to education. So Teachers Mutual Bank started off as the Hornsby Teachers Credit Union about 62 years ago, and as the other banks for teachers around the country disappeared over the last 50 years, we've established a national footprint. So we're proudly now Australia's only bank for the education sector. We have about 200,000 members and about $7 billion in assets, so we're a sizable organisation. Despite that, we've remained not-for-profit. We've decided to stick by our bond of education, and we're member-owned. And that enables us to direct our profits back to the education community, and that's why we support events like this. In the last financial year, we very proudly contributed $2.7 million to the professional development of teachers around the country. So to the important, and I'm hoping that I've got the right one here, yes, the Dr. Alan Drury Excellence in Teaching Award. This year goes to Natalie Harris.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, well done. Thank you. Thank you so much. We may have to get a photo with him. Come on in, up you can't sit all, yeah.
I don't know. It's very generous of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I didn't think I'd have to read this award or this speech. So, yeah, wow. To the other women in this category, like, it's been such an honour meeting you tonight, and I've read your story, but getting to talk to you, and you know, you're all so excited. We're all so excited, just so happy to be here. So thank you so much. This is such a privilege to receive this award. Oh my goodness. Everyone in this room, especially all of the finalists, are just so hardworking. So Yes, thank you. I'd like to thank the Honourable Grace Grace, QCT Board Chair Emeritus Professor Wendy Patton, the Excellence in Teaching Awards sponsor, Teachers Mutual Bank, thank you. Dr. Alan Drury, OAM, it's an honour to receive this award in your name, so thank you very much. Wow. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and I believe the same concept applies to developing passionate and really successful educators, and I would not be standing here in this room with you tonight if it wasn't with the support and the guidance of the following people. So my teaching partner and my right arm, Cara Griggs, thank you so much. She nominated me for this award, and we've really been on this journey together, so thank you. My family, my mum who's here tonight. Hi Mum. My mentor and my friend Megan Reid from IBM, and my colleagues and all of my friends at Pack Pines Primary School. Yeah, thank you to everyone. This is crazy, so thank you.
The Dr. John Dwyer Excellent Leadership in Teaching and Learning Award aims to recognise classroom teachers or school administrators who lead improvement and innovation of teaching and learning. We'd now like to introduce a finalist. Can I ask Dr. John Dwyer to the stage for the presentation, please?
Our job is of great importance because we empathise with our students on a daily basis. We make impact, we drive change, and we lead future generations of others to build a better future for themselves and serve our nation. It allowed me to take risks, to be inspire, create, connect, share, and reflect. It has really been the launch pad, not only for my growth, but also for the growth of my students.
Our ability as a team to examine what we do and to look at it through a critical lens is something I'm proudest of. We're constantly looking at what we're currently doing in the classroom and questioning why we're doing it, is it best for the students, and can we enhance on this? I think understanding that the why is always greater than the how allows me that opportunity to constantly re-evaluate our practices within that digital workflow. I see myself as part of a great team of teachers who are professional, they're brave, they're intelligent, they're passionate, they're innovative in what they're doing, and I have the great job of observing some awesome workflows that really enhance learning and then amplifying that workflow across the staff and beyond. As a teacher, I have the opportunity to work with and hopefully inspire and educate the next generation. And the next generation is our future.
The achievement that I am most proud of as a school leader has been the privilege of directly influencing the culture of a very new school, and of that school achieving a ranking of 13th in Queensland for the 2017 OPE results. I was both surprised and humbled. There are so many hard-working principals and leaders in the state, all very deserving of such an award. Teachers are actively involved with the formation of young minds and the preparation of future leaders. It is truly a vocation to be proud of.
My proudest achievement has been the initiation and implementation of my current school's STEAM program and the opportunities it has afforded me. I've accessed a variety of grants and I'm proud to offer a range of professional development opportunities to teachers from other schools to assist them and their students improve learning outcomes in STEM. To be considered for the Leadership in Teaching Award with my fellow finalists is an absolute honour. The teaching profession is the most important in the world because of the impact we have on the decision makers of the future. Teachers can empower students with knowledge and skills, but more importantly, we empower students to show empathy.
Teaching is the greatest profession in the world. I've only ever wanted to be a teacher. I love the camaraderie of the profession and the fact that school staff are truly there for the kids. It's a privilege to be a teacher and watch the growth of students over time. Knowing I was a finalist made me feel very proud of my achievements, and I'm humbled to be recognised for doing the job I love. The achievement I'm most proud of is the positive journey forward of my school over the years, and the willingness of staff to be involved in the process that's led to the success that I'm being recognised for.
you. Can I now invite Rob back to the stage to announce the 2018 Dr. John Dwyer Award recipient. Thank you.
I wasn't joking when I said we're committed to this. Having told you who we are, now I might tell you a couple of points of difference. So, in a time when the environment is increasingly under threat, you can be proud that the bank that represents your industry has been carbon neutral now for 6 years. In a time when there's been a dreadful Royal Commission bringing out some horrible facts about the industry, you can be proud that the bank that represents your industry has just been certified as the world's most ethical company for the 5th year in a row, and we're the only bank in Australia to be awarded that certification. In a time when customer service in the banking industry is almost at a laughing point, where the industry satisfaction rating's at about 50%, you can be proud that your bank has a 93% member satisfaction rating. So they're just 3 little points, so there is an alternative. The winner of the John Dwyer Excellent Leadership Teaching and Learning Award goes to Stephen Crapner.
Congratulations, Stephen. Well done. Look nice on his desk.
Honourable Minister Grace, QCT Board Chair, Emeritus Professor Wendy Patton, Mr Robbie Cannon, Manager of the Teachers Mutual Bank, Queensland and the Northern Territories, and teaching colleagues and guests. It's an honour. And it is with great humility I accept on behalf of the other 4 finalists the John Dwyer Excellent Leadership in Teaching and Learning Award for 2019. There's several people I do really want to thank. And firstly, the first person I went to is my wife. My wife is my best friend, and she's my role model. She has taught me what I am is right there, and she's taught me everything in 35 years. That's the best teacher, so sweetheart, that's coming your way. Miss Catherine O'Kane is my principal at All Hallows School, and Catherine, I need to really thank you for your unswerving support and your gentle guidance in all my endeavours. And something that's very important to me is you let me fail, and you back me, and when I fail you go, righto, dust it off, get back on the horse and start riding. Sitting next to my wife is Mr John Pembroke. And John, you are simply the hardest working, most unselfish person I have had the pleasure of knowing. You're a man with a vision, and you're also my handbrake. I get all excited and carried away. And I go into John's office, we're doing this. And he goes, no, we're not. And an hour later I come out and go, no, we're going to put a hole in that. Simon Corvin is the Head of Teaching, Learning and Practices at All Hallows, and I form an invaluable partnership with Simon to innovate and to manage change. And I thank Simon for his support and his extremely generous nomination. Miss Christine Beckman. She's a woman of towering intellect and ability to facilitate, she'll be cranky now, she's head of English, facilitate positive change. I always get scared when Christine sticks her head out her office door and goes, Steve, I've been thinking. And I know I'm in deep, deep trouble. And finally, to thank the wonderful staff at All Hallows. And as I said in my video, they're passionate, they're brave, they're innovative, and they really do care. So look, thank you so very, very much. It's a great honour.
The Dr. Joe Macaulay OAM Award for an Outstanding Contribution to School Community, our new award this year, aims to recognise teachers with an outstanding history of service to their school community. Can I ask Dr. Joe Macaulay to join Minister Grace on the podium, please?
Being a teacher is actually such an honour because we do get to be part of lives that have a pathway. Being able to be supporting a young person on a pathway that gives them independence or gives them a chance to believe in themselves. Just completed my 20 years teaching, and I think there's no better way to celebrate. We opened in 2017 and had the opportunity to set up the pedagogical frameworks, the culture, and also build that community.
I love to teach because of the uniqueness of each child, for the playfulness, joy, sense of pride, for nurturing, the nourishing of my soul, for the constant learning, for the collegiality, relationships, sense of community, sense of family and belonging, the freedom and autonomy to teach my way, and the opportunity to make a difference.
In my role as success coach and also within the rugby league program, I have the chance to make sure that they're on an academic pathway and also provide them with the best opportunity to reach their potential within a sporting domain. And for me, turning up every day is an absolute pleasure. My passion wakes me up in the morning just to get there and want to start working with these young people, and it truly is very much an honour for me to stand here alongside so many good teachers that exist within Queensland.
As a school leader, the achievement that I'm most proud of is being able to advocate for all members of our school community and be able to create a sense of harmony in our school culture. We have this incredible opportunity to change young lives, to empower young people, and to create thriving communities where we create the world that we want to live in. I was really surprised that I was a finalist for this year's award, and incredibly proud as well, because I believe that the award that I've been nominated for is actually a reflection of our entire school community.
As a second year teacher, I never thought this would be possible. I always strive to do the best that I can and work to the best of my ability. And to be recognised for this is an incredible accomplishment. The achievement that I'm most proud of as a teacher is seeing my students succeed every day. I am lucky enough in my role as the hospitality and education support teacher to see my students in work experience out in the community daily. I am incredibly proud to be in the most important and greatest profession.
Congratulations to all the finalists in this award. Can I invite the Catholic School Parents Queensland Executive Director, Mrs. Carmel Nash, OAM, to announce the 2018 Dr. Joe McCauley OAM Award recipient.
He's a bit worried about what I might say because I know things. I'm really honoured to be able to announce this award this evening, and can I say that I can't think of a better person for this award to be named after. Joe has made a significant contribution to Queensland's entire education community for over 57 years. He's had many roles as a teacher, a principal, a school inspector, so that places you back a while, Joe, Director of Catholic Education, a QCEC Executive Director, and importantly the Chair of the Board of the College of Teachers. I believe though that with all these jobs, even though Joe has moved up and up the ranks, he's always remained at heart a teacher. Importantly, one of Joe's other roles is as a parent and a grandparent, and this goes on no matter what other roles he fulfills. I've known Joe for more than 30 years, and he's been a champion of parents as first educators, decision makers, advocates, and one of the very early supporters of parents being genuinely engaged in their children and young people's learning for as long as I have known him. He always got it, and he supported what we were trying to do long before others even saw the sense in better engaging families and communities in their children's education. He realised the importance of families and schools working together for the best outcome for the young people in each school and the important role that parents must play in this. He knew the difference that could happen in classrooms if parents were engaged, and he genuinely sought and listened to parents' views and opinions. Joe knew, and I am sure still does know, the value of building a vibrant and inclusive school community and the various people needed for this to be successful and what roles they might each play. These inspirational finalists who are here with us tonight showed you just how important this award is, and we're very honoured as parents and community members for this award to be introduced. It's given parents and families a voice and the chance to really give thanks to their children's teachers and to recognise the work of those at the heart of school communities. As you saw and heard, these teachers have demonstrated outstanding work in involving families and assisting them to make connections with their schools and its teachers. They have built and connected networks of others in the community to support all aspects of their school community and create opportunities for parents to engage in student learning in and outside the classroom. They have built on the legacy of people like Joe Macaulay to continue the outstanding work our teachers do every day in our schools. I'm very pleased to announce the winner of the Dr. Joe Macaulay OAM Outstanding Contribution to School Community is Jessica Walker from the Wanda State High School.
Congratulations, Jessica. Congratulations. Carmel, you coming into the photo too? Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Minister Grace Grace. I'm so honoured, of course, and thank you to Professor Wendy Payton and to Dr. Joe Macaulay. And also thank you so much to Mrs. Carmel Nash. I'm actually a product of the CathEd system. My high schooling was at St Patrick's College in Gympie, and that was where I really learned about what it means to belong to a community. I was so privileged to belong to that school. It taught me that when you feel that you belong somewhere and where you feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself, you can achieve amazing things. And actually last year, one of the award recipients was Dr. Lynn Nordoth, who was my Maths B teacher at St Patrick's College. So it's an amazing honour to be standing here today. The people I need to thank for this, there was a guidance officer really early in my career who taught me that it's always the right thing to stand up and do what's right. It's always the right thing in the right time. And in a school like Yeronga State High School, we have so many young people who are so full of potential, who sometimes need a voice. And I've been so privileged and honoured to have been able to be a voice for those people. And that leads me to one of my students sitting here tonight, Mojgan, who's here, who's been one of my greatest teachers and greatest inspirations. And I also need to thank our PNC president, Tony Stevenson, who nominated me for this award and who just galvanised our school community to really stand up and speak up for human rights and social justice. And my school principal, Terry Heath, who's also here tonight, who has believed in me and has always given me an opportunity to shine and to be the best of myself. And I also need to thank the Queensland Teachers Union, who have similarly stood beside our school community when things have been tough and have really empowered us to make a difference. So thank you, and wonderful, wonderful work for all of our finalists, and particularly the ones in my category. And I feel, I was speaking with some of our finalists tonight, and we feel so, it's almost like we're cheating to be here tonight because we're doing what we love. We already feel like we're such winners. We're working in an area where we can live our passion and be privileged to change other people's lives, and yet we're rewarded for doing something that we already feel rewarded for. So thank you, and it's an incredible privilege to be the first recipient of this incredible award. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Macaulay, and thank you, Jessica, for those really inspiring words reminding us why we became a teacher. Which brings me to our special guest tonight. Can I ask Ms. Alison Camille, a beginning teacher who's at the very early stages of her career, to share a few words with us. Thanks.
Thank you, and I feel extremely honoured to have the opportunity to share my story here tonight, particularly considering that I've only been a teacher for 9 months. To be in this room with such amazing people is very inspiring. I've been asked to share my story today, and in some ways I have a fairy tale of a story. It all started with my kindergarten teacher. I cannot remember her name. I cannot really remember her face, but I can vividly remember clutching onto her skirt, not wanting to let her go, because she made me feel so good about myself, like I could do anything. She was the teacher that inspired me, and from that very first day of school, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. However, like all fairy tales, it was some time before I got my happy ending. After holding on to the lifelong dream, I finally went to university in my late 30s, and I graduated with a Bachelor of Primary Education, a perfect grade point average of 7, and the university medal. And I think I'm living happily ever after. I've had a lot of interest in the past sort of year in how I achieved such success, particularly considering I was a mature age student, studying full-time, working part-time as a teacher aide. I was juggling a mortgage, motherhood, a marriage. Well, I don't know really how I did it in some ways, but I will say that it can only be achieved with support and sacrifice. I had a fantastic support network of my parents, my friends, even my own children. However, I feel that it was my husband who sacrificed his annual leave to look after our kids whilst I went off on pracs and pursued my dream, and sometimes sacrificed our marriage in some ways. So without him, I wouldn't be standing here today. Thanks, honey. He's here tonight. But it was a moment early on in my degree that really affected me, my approach to study and ultimately my approach to teaching. I thought in so many ways that I was probably too old for uni. I thought I wouldn't be able to remember anything. How was I going to write an essay? How would I do public speaking? So I just kept thinking, just let me pass. Please, I just need to pass. If I just get that piece of paper that says teacher on it, just let me pass. But then a few weeks into uni, we started learning about children and how they grow and develop. And at the same time, my daughter was about to start school. And so I was reflecting a lot on her growth and development. And I had this realisation as a mum that I wouldn't want someone teaching my child who had a just pass attitude. So it had suddenly dawned on me the responsibility that I was undertaking, becoming a teacher. And I knew at that point that I couldn't just scrape through uni. And to tell the truth, I was terrified of standing in front of a class of children and being just adequate. Now that didn't mean that I needed to know everything there was about teaching and learning, because as any quality teacher will tell you, that's impossible. We are constantly learning every day. And it also didn't mean that high marks meant that I was automatically going to be an exceptional teacher. What it did mean was that I was going to do everything in my power to make sure that I graduated with as much knowledge as possible so that I had the best chance of becoming a quality teacher. For me, it was about embracing the learning and making the most of every opportunity, and I still do that today. So I went to workshops on public speaking. I went to workshops on how to write an essay. I attended every lecture and tutorial, and I was that annoying mature age student at the front of the room with the questions all the time. But I was also that student who knew that the lectures and tutorials would never be enough. I knew that the pracs would really count, and they would allow me to shape my identity as a teacher. In fact, I even created my own prac. When teachers started telling me that the first 2 weeks of teaching is going to make or break your entire year of teaching, I started to get a bit worried because all of my pracs were at the end of the year. So I approached the school where I was working as a teacher aide, and I said, can I please come in for those few days before school starts and that first week of teaching and just observe and see what happens. That was one of the best decisions I made. So fast forward to the start of this year when I became a Year 3 classroom teacher at Bedina State School. I had graduated with very high marks and all these awards, which mean very little on day one when you're standing in front of 25 children. Now, I've already made mistakes and I've still got so much to learn, but I've had so many highlights in just 9 months. The biggest one being when one of my students came up to me and didn't clutch my skirt because they stand about this tall, but they did clutch my shirt like this, and they didn't move for a few seconds, and they just stood there and smiled at me. And I thought, yeah, that's my moment. Thank you for allowing me to share my story tonight. I'd like to congratulate all the finalists and the winners. And for the finalists in the Outstanding Contribution to Teaching Award, I'd like to give very much best of luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alison. I had moments of deep inadequacy listening to you there. So, congratulations on your incredible academic results and your amazing approach to education. You've got 25 very lucky students at Bedina State School, so enjoy the rest of the year. You're nearly there. We're now on to our final award, the Outstanding Contribution to Teaching. I'd like to introduce the finalists in this category, the Professor Betty H. Watts OBM Memorial Award for an Outstanding Contribution to Teaching. This award aims to recognise teachers with an outstanding history of service. And I'd like to invite the former Director of the Board of Education Registration, Dr. Mari Jansen, to the stage to join Minister Grace to represent the Professor Betty H. Watts OBM Memorial Award for Outstanding Contribution to Teaching.
Education is indeed a gift, and as educators, it is our primary responsibility to not only inform students, but to inspire them. One of my proudest moments as an educator was when Fiona Wirra-George, who Chum Young, won the David Unipen Award in 2003 and was later published in 2004. As her mentor, it was exceptionally gratifying to see a student come so far. She has gone on to write numerous books which have been published, and she is presently undertaking her PhD. Coincidentally, she was one of my nominators. I felt humbled and grateful to be recognised for my contributions over the past 44 years.
The teaching profession, I think, is one of the most important in the world because of the incredible responsibility that we have to ensure that every young person who leaves our care leaves with a positive feeling about themselves. I get to spend every day of my working life with young people, and they help to keep me young. The achievement that I'm proudest of as a school leader would be the contributions that I have made to the academic curriculum at school. Finding out that I was a finalist came as a surprise. I was very grateful, of course, to my principal and deputy for nominating me for this award. I'm just very thankful to them for wanting to acknowledge my efforts over the last 40 years at the school.
For 30 years, it has been a tremendous honour to offer thousands of students the possibility that dance education allows, for them to flourish physically, creatively and intellectually. After 30 years, it is still exciting to try to elicit a love of learning in students, to encourage them to try new things, to think critically and deeply, and ultimately to improve our community by making them happy. The collaborative nature of dance and arts teaching has greatly strengthened the role that this area of learning has had in the education of Queensland students. It is very humbling to be acknowledged by my peers in such a generous manner.
So I'm working with the kids on the fringes. This is what I like about my job, what am I most proud of. I've been at this job for 50 years now, and I still get up in the morning wanting to come to school. This is a tremendous honour, and I feel very privileged and very humbled to be nominated for an award like this. I don't do it for the accolades and the recognition, but I do this for my students. But to be honoured like this is just something that is just I find very gratifying. You get to empower young people, you transform lives, and you're doing something that'll give your life purpose, meaning and fulfillment.
I must say I'm pleased about taking some risks throughout my career.
pushing me well outside my comfort zone, applying for very different education roles, which has helped me develop new perspectives and to see the education bigger picture. To become a finalist is so very special, and I feel privileged to be included with this group of educators in 2018. Well, there are lots of cliches about teaching being the most important profession, and I agree with them all. But one aspect is especially important, and that is that the world we want to have depends significantly on what teachers do daily to support generations of students to be the best they can be, for their future and for ours collectively. This work by teachers to educate for a better world carries huge responsibility, and teachers are courageous to take it on. But what could be more important and rewarding than ensuring through teachers' work with students that we can enjoy the best possible lives in a truly wonderful world.
Can I ask the Courier Mail and Sunday Mail education reporter Ms Lauren Martin-Jones to come to the stage to announce the winner of this award.
Thanks. It's a real privilege to be here tonight. The Courier Mail and the Sunday Mail are very proud to sponsor the Professor Betty Watts Memorial Award for an outstanding contribution to teaching. We can see from the video that just played that each of the 5 finalists have made a remarkable contribution to the lives of the students that they've taught, and they're very deserving of this recognition. As a newspaper, the Courier Mail appreciates how seriously parents take the education of their children and how much they value information about their child's schooling. We as a newspaper see that as a responsibility, and we're very committed to providing that information, whether it be an education policy change or an ideological debate or school results. But it's a unique privilege to be able to take time out to recognise the wonderful work that teachers do every day, sometimes in very difficult situations. Each of our finalists have a deep respect for the transformative power of education, and we commend the work that you've done, and your students are very lucky to have you. And on that note, I'm delighted to announce the winner of the Betty Watts Memorial Award for an outstanding contribution to teaching. And this year, it's Colin Orwich.
I always used to look at my dad when he was, as he got older, and he cried all the time. And I was a stoic young guy, and I could never figure out why old guys start bawling. Something emotional happens, but this is an incredibly emotional time for me. I was just listening to these young teachers here, you know, so up to 4 years of teaching. You only got 46 years to go. And you too can stand here. And but I'd like to acknowledge the Minister of Education, the Honourable Grace Grace, for paying my salary, my wages. And our host dignitary, Emeritus Professor Wendy Patton, thank you very much, and thank you for the roles you've played in making this award ceremony possible. I've worked for 50 years providing alternative and compensatory education with students whose prospects of succeeding in conventional education were often bleak. And I'm doing what I can to address that issue for 50 years. You know, support staff invariably work independently. We're often in isolation at the back of the school. In many cases, we're in uncharted territory. We're teaching kids that nobody else knows what to do with them. Just thankful that you're taking them and you're doing something with them. We know our students won't feature in the awards and accolades and qualifications on offer at most schools, but we are passionate about what we do and in our belief that we can make a difference. Any teacher who has chosen a career in special education and learning support soon discovers there's great joy to be had in knowing you could be a positive influence for struggling young people, that you can be instrumental in turning lives and attitudes around, that you will help them achieve things they never thought possible, and for many give them hope for their future. And to receive an award such as this as I come to the twilight of my career is therefore extremely gratifying and humbling. Knowing that I've been endorsed by my colleagues and the parents of my students, I feel honoured and validated by this gesture and ultimately very fulfilled as a teacher. My thanks and appreciation go to the Courier Mail for sponsoring this award, and my wife Lisa, who is with me this evening and has been my rock for the last 38 years. She's only ever known me as a teacher, who provides me and my family the love and support that it brings balance to my life. She waits at home till I come home at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock every night, and ultimately enables me to stand here this evening. And of course, thank you to all my students. You've given my life meaning and fulfillment, and I'll always be thankful to have been on this journey with you. I just think as a you know, from the days when I used to fire up the potbelly stove when I first started teaching, to the methylated spirits, photocopiers, the old typewriters, to the chalkboards, and all the stuff that I've done over the years. And you know, now we're all whiteboards and electronics and ITs and computers and things like this. It's been huge change, and I've been embraced, you know, as I've just always wanted to be a better teacher. But probably the biggest thing, because I can talk now because I'm the last one. And you know, as teachers, once we get going, we're on. And let me say one last thing is that Facebook, we battle with our kids with their phones and the distractions that modern you know, social media has with them. But since the announcement of the nominations for these awards, and it got on Facebook, it's been absolutely amazing, you know, and I've just had so much support from my past students 30, 40 years ago, contacting me through Facebook and you know, just acknowledging the impact that I've had on their lives. But more than that, it's the impact that they've had on my life. And I always say to them, you know, you've been so much for me in my life. You know, it's just, I digress now, but yeah. I have just found teaching a wonderful joy. 50 years of teaching, I finish up this year. I think that the time has come. This is, yeah, and I don't think, we always tell our kids at our school that we're teaching now, we can't, you know, expect to have a few careers in your life. You know, you're not like the old school where we start off as something and work our way through. But I'm proud to be a teacher. When you get to see my tombstone one day, it's going to be Colin Orovich, teacher. You know, and that's the best thing that I think it's a wonderful, wonderful profession in what we do with the students. Thank you for this award. It's wonderful. Wonderful, very proud, very humble.
Well-deserved winner there, Colin, and I would not have been game to stop you. I think the crowd would have lynched me, I think. So what an incredible career that you have had, and how richly you have how you have enriched the lives of so many young people over the last 50 years. I'm not sure you should be retiring. I'm sure there'll be a lot of tears on that day. So congratulations. And congratulations to all of our finalists, and particularly to our award recipients this evening. What a wonderful time to be a teacher. It is one of those times that you can take a moment to reflect on the contribution that you do make, because it's a very busy and demanding role, and we don't always take the opportunity to give ourselves a pat on the back. So yeah, warm congratulations to you all. I'd like to now pass to Emeritus Professor Wendy Patton, Chair of the QCT Board, to close the proceedings and give a vote of thanks. Wendy.
Thanks very much, Kathy. Wow, I'm just glad that I wasn't on the selection panel. What an impressive group of finalists we have, and they are just a very, very small proportion of the 107,000 teachers who are currently registered in Queensland to teach. And each story tells of truly exceptional work of teachers working with, as many of them have said, with our future. Teaching is a profession that calls to the heart of an individual. It joins social workers, ministers of religion, medical professionals as one of the occupations we tend to recognise as having a vocational calling. And I think that's certainly something that we've heard tonight. Almost to a person, and people talked about that here tonight as well, teachers describe their motivation as related to helping children or changing the world through teaching children or giving back that which was received from their own teacher. Also, people here tonight talked about that teacher, even if they couldn't remember their name, who made them think about feeling special. Our finalists tonight, just listening and reading through the booklets, we've had a combined service of many, many decades. I didn't do the maths, and the person I'm going to speak about will think, well, you should have. But there has been a phenomenal number of decades of service to Queensland education. A year ago, I had the delight to be invited to speak at the farewell of a former teacher of mine from the mid-70s. It was secondary school. Jim Gore, who was here this evening as my guest, I was honoured to invite him, served our profession, I'm sorry Colin, for 57 years. Most of that time in Queensland schools. So Jim retired at the end of last year. And his passion for getting the best out of his students, years after he walked into his own classroom, remains. And I actually use the present tense because he still volunteers in after-school classes. Jim teaches maths, one of the few teachers who can teach Year 12 or senior, Maths B, Maths C, combined classes with physics. So I don't think we should let you retire, Jim, and I know you didn't really want to either. But Jim talked about the buzz that you see when the lights come on in a student's eyes, the buzz you feel as a teacher. It makes the teacher feel good, it makes the students feel good, and it gives the students confidence to keep learning. And these are Jim's words. These lights turning on moments are what makes it all worthwhile. You teach to get those moments. And students really appreciate a teacher who takes the extra time to get those moments. However, despite all of the wonderful stories we've heard tonight, our profession still often has to respond to negative and deficit language. Teachers' work is highly scrutinised and often criticised. The residual of these noisy and too often ill-informed comments means that society is often distracted from affirming the essence of good education, and that is the devoted teacher. As with all of our teachers, we need to reclaim the stories of the wonderful work that is being done, acclaim their value to us and to society, and simply to thank them. These Excellence in Teaching Awards, part of our World Teachers' Day celebrations, are doing just that. We have today seen some of our best. Thank you to all the nominees and all of our finalists, and my personal congratulations to the winners today. I'd also like to thank our special guest this evening. Thank you so much, Minister Grace. Thank you for marshalling out the front here. Yes, as someone said, you've done this before. Thank you very much for that. Thank you to the Shadow Education Minister, Mrs. Simone Wilson. Thank you so much to our very special award eponyms and our presenters, Dr. Roger Hunter, OAM, Dr. Alan Drury, Dr. John Dwyer, Dr. Joe McCauley, OAM, and Dr. Murray Jansen. And thanks so much to Carmel Nash, OAM, for presenting tonight and speaking so wonderfully. It's so wonderful for me to look around the room and see our wonderful partners in this education project that we all engage in Queensland. We have representatives from each of our employer groups, from principals associations, from the unions, from each of our wonderful parent groups and teacher education institutions. Thank you so much for coming to this event, for supporting the QCT and for supporting our excellent teachers. Thank you also again so much to our award sponsors, to Cathy McGuane from Teachers Union Health. Thank you again for 10 years of support. Thank you to Rob Buchanan from Teachers Mutual Bank. I'll see you in 8 years. And thank you so much to Lauren Martin-Jones from the Courier Mail and the Sunday Mail. This is a major event, as you can appreciate, in the QCT calendar. And I want to thank all the staff from the QCT for all the work. I just stand here and make a speech. But so many people in the college, the videos, the marshalling together of the stories, making sure that some of these stories are shared with the media. So much work. This event, the photographers who will now put all of this together, thank you so much to the staff who've engaged in this work for so much of the last several months. It's very much appreciated by me, by the board, and I know very much appreciated by everybody here tonight. Thank you. I want to thank the students from St Lawrence's College for their wonderful music when we first came in. I'd like to thank Kathy Galvin for wonderful MC work. Thank you, Kathy. And I'd also very much like to thank Alison Camille. What a wonderful story, what a wonderful speech. Thank you so much. Fireworks, just for us. Thank you all for coming. The Story Bridge is lit up in honour of World Teachers' Day. Please join us outside. I'm hoping that wasn't thunder. Was it? Okay. Please join us inside for canapes and peek out the window and look at the lights on the Story Bridge. Thank you very much, everybody.